Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So more work on the tail. Yeah, I'm going to be filling in a bit here where I've got another kind of a feather motif, kind of a scale almost. So yeah, that's what I'm working on today. Yeah, taking the opportunity of having an empty house to film. Kiddo has an appointment right now, so makes it a good time to try to film with less background noise. Of course, now that I say that, my husband will probably have to come home for something he forgot or something like that, as often happens. So yeah, doing more blues this time, and I think some more browns depending on how far we get. I already had about 30 done before I started, so not starting quite at zero, but pretty close to it. Yeah, hard to believe it is July, as it is still chilly today. Yeah, we had a couple warm days, but we're back to the cold and rain. Although one thing I kind of like is that doesn't limit what I cook, because, of course, when it's super hot, I don't like to turn on my oven if I can help it, because that really heats the place up. Yeah, I had someone who was surprised, saying that they didn't think it's that much different than using the stovetop, but I definitely notice a difference between the two, yeah. From turning on, you know, 1 or 2 burners versus, yeah, heating up the whole oven. I find that heat really lingers. That's why they had the saying, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen, right? Yeah. Yeah, I kind of often console myself when it's a colder day. I make homemade bread, because yum. Yeah, I've been making it for years. My mother-in-law gave me a bread maker for a wedding gift, so it's actually nice because the actual bread machine part of it doesn't work anymore, but it's also a mini oven, and so yeah, I use it for that. Sometimes when I don't want to heat up the big oven, I use the little one. Or if I have to cook something at different temperatures, then that is definitely very useful. Yeah, and my oven only has 1 rack in it. I don't know why, because they come with 2 usually. And I don't know if someone took one out or what, but yeah, that certainly has not helped either. And I went and looked into trying to find a new one, but ovens are all different sizes, and some of them, they wanted almost as much as it would cost to just get a whole new oven, right? So it's kind of like, not really worth it at that point, so I just kind of deal. I tried buying this kind of stacking thing that was supposed to hold like 3 casserole dishes high if you didn't have enough space in your oven, but I got it, and I should have measured a little more carefully, because the measurements they gave, yeah, they were too small to fit any of my casserole dishes, so yeah, it ended up being a waste of money. I just kind of assumed when they said 3 casserole dishes that it would automatically fit, and yeah, that's on me for not looking closely at the specs and actually pulling out my measuring tape to check if it would fit, right? But so lazy when I'm ordering online, right? You're just sitting in bed, you don't want to get up. Yeah, if people say the worst part is when you have to get up to get your credit card, I'm like, oh, but mine are in sleeves on my phone, so my credit card information's right there. So that is not a problem I have. Actually, my very first credit card, I had it memorized. But But then the number got stolen and it had to be replaced with a new one, so I've never memorized it since. I can just go in my brain with all the other useless stuff that's stored in there, like my 8th grade locker combination. Because, like, yeah, I'll totally use that again, right? Yeah, especially since they were built into the lockers, so it's not like you could keep the lock or anything. Actually, I went to one school that you had to pay for the lock because it was an actual padlock that went on your locker, and then they wanted to keep it at the end of the year. And I'm like, I paid for it, I'm taking it, you know? So I still have it somewhere. And I certainly wasn't the only one, yeah. I think maybe a third of the people left their locks behind at the end of the school year. I did not. Yeah, so you can see this is kind of the center of an eye motif here, and I'm just gonna kind of work back and forth at the bottom part, the side part, just sort of around, wrapping around that and growing out from there. So I was working up closer to the top of this pass last time. Now I've worked my way down a bit. But yeah, there are not many big blocks here. This has been, yeah, fairly detailed. So it certainly has kept my brain engaged. Yeah, I wonder if this is a good craft for brain exercise, right? Like they say, you know, they recommend doing things like crossword puzzles and stuff to keep your brain exercised as you get older. Yeah, there was one lady who said she noticed if her mom read books versus watching TV, she was more alert and lucid than if she just watched TV. Because I guess when you're reading, you have to create the world in your head, right? So that's probably part of the reason why I don't really read much sci-fi and fantasy, even though I do like watching it, because yeah, you have to do a lot of more brain work to create that world in your head, so I can be lazy. I was like, I had a relative recommend a show to me, but it's subtitled, and I said, it's not that I'm a snob, it's that I'm lazy. Yeah, because I like to stitch while I watch, and if I have to be reading the subtitles the whole time, then that's not going to work for me. Like, I usually watch with subtitles on, but it's there as a backup kind of thing. It's still in English. Yeah. So, yeah, I said it's not, yeah, like I said, it's not that I'm a snob. It's lazy. It's totally on me. Yeah, I had a hard time with the second season of, what was it, Westworld, because of that. Yeah, there was a lot of Native American speech and Japanese, which of course I definitely don't speak either of those, so yeah. But yeah, the actors didn't speak those languages either, so it was definitely a lot of work for them, they said, having to just straight memorization of the lines, which can be tough. Okay. So yeah, trying not to close anything in here too much, as I can help it. I haven't done any on all 4 sides, so sort of my biggest no-no. Yeah, and then these tail feathers are going to go quite a ways further, I think. Where did I put? Ah, there they are. I keep my scissors in my lap, but sometimes I have a hard time finding them. I don't always put them. Sometimes I put them sort of on the seat next to me, so yeah. So some brown. So yeah, some of these stitches will end up closed in on 3 sides instead of 4, but oh well. Oops. I find I'm still able to keep them looking neat enough for my liking, so, and not miss any. Well, I say that, but usually when I'm pulling out my grid lines, I usually find about half a dozen that I forgot to cross. Yeah, that I did the bottom legs, but I forgot to do the top legs. I don't generally miss one in completely, leaving it a completely blank square, but yeah, if the first leg is there, sometimes you can forget to cross one. Yeah, as you can see, lots of different part threads here. It is quite colorful. So yeah, I hope you all are having a good summer so far, and that you're staying cool, or staying warm as the case may be, staying comfortable. Yeah. Yeah, we really haven't had any really hot summers. We did when my son was little, but because I remember I wanted to take him to the park, but then it got to be like 40 degrees in the afternoon, and so yeah, we ended up having to leave because it was just way too hot. Like, even with sunscreen and sun hats and everything, I didn't feel safe being out in that kind of heat. Yeah. So, and unfortunately, there weren't really, the park where I took him to, there wasn't really much trees for shade to play in instead. So yeah, and I'm a bit obsessive about sun safety because when I was a kid, I got sunstroke, and yeah, that was some of the most miserable I ever remember feeling in my life. So yeah, and after that, I started getting plagued with headaches too. Like, I never had a headache before that. And then we went to California. I was 8, I think. And as we went to Disneyland, and my parents took us to the beach one day, and we played on the beach all day in the hot sun with no sun hats, because my parents never thought of that kind of stuff. And yeah, I got really bad sunstroke, so yeah, it was awful. We went to SeaWorld the next day, and yeah, I really should have been sleeping that whole day. I was not good. I don't really remember much of it because, yeah, I did not feel good. Yeah, I had people say, like, how did you get your kid to keep a sun hat on, you know, as a toddler? And I said, well, I put it on him. We went to play in the backyard, and sort of whenever he'd take his hat off, I put it back on. If he took it off, you know, and kept trying to keep it off, I'd say, well, I guess we have to go inside because we have to wear a hat outside. And after Dave doing that, yeah, he kept his hat on after that. Yeah. So I know I probably annoyed him a bit, but I'd rather he be a little annoyed with me and not get sunstroke because, yeah, like I said, that is absolutely miserable. I mean, it's really radiation poisoning technically, right? So, mild form of it, but it sure doesn't feel mild if you get it. That's, yeah. Yeah, you have to be careful because I got quite badly burned last summer. And actually, I still have a very faint tan line on the one arm that burned the worst. So, yeah. I didn't put enough sunscreen on in the morning. I realized I was burning and I put on later, but by that time damage was done. And yeah, you don't want that because sun damage is cumulative. They said even minor burns, right? The damage adds up over time and puts you at greater risk for skin cancer. So yeah. Yeah, I get annoyed with my husband because he won't wear sunscreen unless it's like really, really bad or we're going for a whole day on the beach. And yeah, you know, we went to a car show and I said, you know, we should put sunscreen on. It's if we're going to be out there. And he said, oh, I'll just wear a hat. I said, well, your neck's not protected. He said, oh, it covers. I said, not completely though. And it's like, I know you don't like the feel of sunscreen, but I bet you'd like the feel of getting seriously ill much worse, right? Yeah. I don't want you to burn and raise your risk of skin cancer. That's not something you want to mess around with. Well, at least he wears a hat. He used to not be good about wearing that either, but then because I was so, you know, fastidious about it with my kiddo, every time he saw Dad working outside without his hat on, kiddo would come inside and find Dad's hat and bring it to him because, yeah, he had to wear one too, so. There's that at least, especially when you have dark hair like we do, right? It really heats up and cooks your brain. Well, I say my parents didn't think of those things, but then also it was the 80s. Nobody really did, right? Yeah. I remember people would put on baby oil so that you could tan, aka burn faster. Yeah. Just not good. So yeah, I kind of stitched around this scale here, and now we're gonna fill it in. Just adding more and more these little feather motifs. Yeah, so I think we're about 2/3 or getting close to 3/4 of the way across this path here. Yeah, I haven't done the exact math, so but it's like 550 wide, and this is 380, that line right there. So yeah, we're coming on to that. Gonna check the one down here. Yeah, that is long enough to do all those ones. So I'm gonna carry this one over to the right. I was gonna carry it downwards if the one that parked there wasn't long enough to do those other stitches, but it is. So I will park this over here and leave it for now until we get to it. Okay. Yeah, I had a feeling this one wasn't very long. I vaguely remembered. So do these and those since they are connected on the one side. was wrong. Yeah, I felt a little more resistance, which means I pierced the fabric instead of going into the little hole in the fabric. There we go. That's better. All right, I have no medium length pieces, so I'm going to use up a couple of smaller ones rather than starting a great big one for 6 stitches. So I'll do these 2 with one, and then I'll do the other 4 with another when I get to it. Pulled up another thread with it there. Yep, you can see that. Pulled up an end there. Okay, let's see if we can get it to go back with this snag tool. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's actually technically a knitting tool. It's to fix snags in knit garments, but it works great for cross stitch fuzzies. Yeah, if you don't want to buy a whole snag tool, there was someone who recommended some dental floss. Yeah, it's a little thicker than the thread, and they keep one threaded off to the side, and then when they have a fuzz like that, they just use it to coax it to go back to the other side. So I haven't tried it myself, but that was a suggestion I saw. So thought someone might find it helpful. Okay. Ooh. Oh, dear me. Yeah, I actually slept pretty well last night. I don't know why. I got the yawnies. Yeah, I tried my anti-snoring mouth guard thing, but yeah, it's just not on. Well, they have only one size, and I guess, yeah, it doesn't fit me very well, or either that or I'm just really sensitive to it, but yeah. Well, with my nose, my nasal dilator things, I don't really snore that much, and so I'll just deal because, yeah. Well, they had a 30-day money-back guarantee, so I'll put in for a refund because it didn't work for me. It's that same one, those same fuzzies, I think. Yeah. Trying to come back. That's better. Okay. I was hoping this piece would be enough, but I think it's a little too short. Get another couple of stitches and then I'm gonna have to add another, I'm afraid. Yes, so why is it the train operator during the day, he doesn't overdo it? The guy at night, my gosh. I looked it up too. They're supposed to do 2 short blasts, 1 long one. And this guy just, he does that like 8 times in a row. At like, you know, 1 o'clock at night. Like, come on, buddy. I don't know. Maybe he was involved in a collision and now he's paranoid or something, but yeah. Yeah, that's all we're gonna get out of that one, methinks. Yeah, it's just gonna get too fiddly to try to get anywhere. There's so many here. I'm gonna just thread this one across the back. Yeah, I could pin stitch in the horizontal threads, but I don't know why. For some reason, I find they don't like to disappear as well when I do it that way, so yeah. This one's long enough for an away thread. Oops. Yeah, I can see from this green sort of how this motif kind of ends there. So that's the one I'm gonna stick to for a bit. lots of colors in the 900 numbers on this project. Make sure I'm in the right spot because I got a bunch of brown here and a bunch of brown up there. So yeah, I've done that before. Made myself a whole mess I had to undo later. Oh, rats, I realized I just inverted these, didn't I? Yeah, this is an, oh, okay. Yeah, I just did that wrong. Whoops. Okay, that's okay, it's just one stitch. There we go, yeah. Yeah, I just realized I grabbed 919, and I should have grabbed 918. Vice versa. Okay, that's okay. We can fix that. Yeah, this one is the 918, and then the next one is the 919. They were so close, I probably could have left it, but oh well. I'd rather fix it, at least this time around. Okay. Okay. Now we want 919. Yep. Yeah, there've been a couple times when I was like that one stitch was one color off and it was so close I did not bother to change it, but oh well. I did this time, so. Yeah, looking at it up close, it's kind of hard to tell that there's a difference between those two, but hey. Yeah. Rather be as close to the original pattern as possible. Yeah, I dare say probably not one of these ever gets stitched precisely as it's charted, because we all seem to do that, make mistakes like that, and sometimes you don't catch them, so you don't even know. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, the sun is starting to come out a little bit more. Although, yeah, we do have what could be thunderclouds on the horizon there. Yeah, they've been saying this week we're going to have scattered thunderstorms. So, yeah, my kiddo went through a phase where he thought they were cool. Then he was scared of them, and now he doesn't care. Now he thinks they're cool again, so, yeah. Yeah, I know some people have a phobia of it. Yeah, my phobia is spiders. I hate them. Ugh. I know they serve a useful purpose, and around here in Canada, we don't have any venomous ones, but yeah, just, ugh. Just don't come in my house and we won't have a problem. Actually, I'm going to do that one there as well, since it's right up against the edge. Yeah, kiddo was involved in his first fender bender the other day. Not his fault. Yeah, he was in a parking lot and she bumped into him. It was so minor though, thankfully. Like, there was no damage. I said if they had to hit it anywhere, they hit it right in this corner panel that's like plastic, so it could just pop right back out. It was a tiny bit of paint transfer, so yeah, thankfully. No big deal. Yeah, like my husband said, I'll get a, $5 thing of touch-up paint and it'll be fine. Since it's plastic, there won't be any rust. And yeah, we told them not to worry about it. These things happen. But yeah, kiddo kept calm because we did tell him before he started driving exactly what to do if there ever is an accident. Hoping that you'll never need it, but yeah, you want to know what to do when you're not in an upset state so that, yeah, you know what to do when it does happen. Yeah, because, yeah, I got rear-ended a couple years ago, and I didn't even get the shakes after. I had one because I got rear-ended a couple years before that, yeah, because, well, driving my kiddo to school, there's a lot of new drivers, right? And it's in cramped conditions. So yeah, unfortunately, I got hit by teenagers twice. And yeah, the first time I was really calm at the scene. And then like by the time I got to work, I had the shakes for a while. And then the last time I kind of was waiting for the shakes to show up and they never did. So yeah, guess I gotten used to it. Not really the kind of thing you want to get used to, but yeah. Okay, we're gonna go snake our way down here along this edge again. I thought putting that thread through there would make that fuzzy bit go back, but yeah, it's being stubborn. Oh, look at that, silly me. There we go. Goodness, this spot, I swear it's cursed. There we go. Those ends just keep wanting to pop up again. Stay at the back. There's another one there. Okay. Okay. So yeah, we haven't started the renos yet, but we will. My husband's taken a couple weeks off work. Although we're hoping it's only going to take a few days to get it all done, and then he can relax the rest of the time. Work on his Unimog. Yeah, my son is excited because he'll be able to drive that one too, since he can drive the standard. Yeah. It's a just for fun kind of thing, yeah. Although eventually they want to take it off-roading, but right now it's considered just a collector's item because, well, it's in pieces right now. You can't even drive it, so yeah. You don't need actual driving coverage at the moment. Yeah, somebody painted it like a school bus orange, the last owner before us. So my husband is going to make it army green again. Yeah, he got that a few years ago. Yeah, before the pandemic. Yeah, everything's before and after, right? Okay, so do those two. My husband's excited. He wants to eventually enter it into car shows when it's finished, the Unimog, so. Okay, let's see what I'm going to do with this. So I did, oops, should put it in the correct mode here. Actually, let's park that up there. So you can slowly see this starting to take shape. Yeah, I like watching stuff appear. It's Sometimes you stitch for a while and it doesn't really look like anything, and then yeah, all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, now I can see what it is. I find that kind of cool when I've seen people stitch with the extreme cross country. They do all of one color, and yeah, it's really interesting. It can look just like a jumble for quite a while, and then yeah, as they fill it in, it like slowly comes into focus. There, so I did it that way so I could do this whole bunch in a row. Oh, gotta change positions here so I don't get sore. All right. So I may go back up and start working on that side of this little eye motif. We'll see. I'll decide as I get to it. It's so quiet. I can hear my little solar dancers. You probably can't on camera, but yeah. I have a big, very wide windowsill, my office space downstairs. And yeah, I collect those little figures that they dance when the sun hits them. Find them fun. Kiddo likes to collect Yoshis. Yeah, he's got like 7 stuffed Yoshis now. Yeah. And he has Yoshi pajamas. Yeah, they're onesie pajamas with a hood, so they worked well. He wore them as a Halloween costume for a couple of years. Very comfortable too. Yeah, I bought them years ago when ThinkGeek was still around, and they only had adult ones, and I figured, well, he won't mind if they're big. He'll grow into them, and that was like 10 years ago, and yeah, now they finally fit. Basically no slack left in the legs, but I was amazed it lasted that long. Yeah, they're still in pretty decent shape considering. Yeah, I miss ThinkGeek. That was a fun little online store. I bought my laptop bag for them. It looks like a Starfleet messenger bag. So yeah, which I met a lot of fans when I met. Oh my gosh, I love your bag. You know, live long and prosper. Yeah. They had lots of fun stuff. They had you could buy a sonic screwdriver set because of Doctor Who. They had my husband kind of wanted one of the little. They had the little BB-8 from Star Wars. Little remote control toy. but I mean, it was pretty expensive, so we never bought one. But yeah, they had a lot of fun stuff. They had a bag that looked like the Sheikah slate from Legend of Zelda. Yeah, just all sorts of fun stuff like that. They had a Bluetooth communicator that looked like the old ones they had from the original Star Trek series, and they said even made so you could Bluetooth it to your phone, and it flipped open and made the same, you know, sound. Yeah, so yeah, it was a really fun little store. I really liked it, and I was very sad when they announced they were going out of business. But yeah, I think that was another one of the pandemic probably finished them off. So yeah, I did a lot of Christmas shopping from them. I gave my sister-in-law's a big Doctor Who fan, so she got a TARDIS blanket. Yeah, stuff like that. It was. I got some Starfleet pajamas that look like the Next Generation uniform. Although for some reason the top's really comfortable. They made the waistband on the pants very, very tight and uncomfortable, so I never wear them. Yeah, I wear different pants with them. Yeah, I don't know why they made such a big disconnect where it's like the top's so roomy and the bottom was so tight, so I don't know. Yeah, it was kind of fun on the Starfleet bag I had. It came with 4 pips, and so you could change the number of pips because they're snap buttons. Yeah, depending on how many you want, what rank you want to be. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, looking here, I may start working from this edge down and have these meet together. Let's see. Anything that's kind of still right up against the edge, I'll do. And actually then, as I go, I'll sort of park and unthread until I come back to that spot there. So again, as long as it's connected on one side, I will stitch it. Oh, another fuzz there. There we go. Yeah, so I'm just gonna reset, take those needles off. I'll do that sometimes when I've got quite a few threaded, just to make sure I don't get all mixed up. So put all those out of my way. There. Okay, so I'm gonna come up to the top here, start filling in until these 2 halves meet. That piece is too short. I think we'll just start a whole new new one. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, no matter what I do, I'm gonna close in a little bit on one side. Yeah, so there's sort of another eye motif there that's gonna form, but I'm gonna try and stick to mostly finishing this one that I've got started here. Oh, right. I forgot. Okay, I'll do this one too since I can't park it in the upper right, so it's a little out of order, but oh well. That way I can tie off this thread completely anyway. That one's showing a little bit more, but I know these are dark colors here. The navy blue and such will be there, so I'm not too concerned about it. Okay. I'll probably finish up for this session pretty soon anyway. So we're closing in on 200. Of course, like I said, I did about 30 of them before I started, but that's still a pretty good number, I think. Too short. Just get rid of it. So yeah, usually I kind of stitch in a more limited area, but today we've been kind of traveling around a bit. Hopefully that kept things interesting for you. I've ever used my snag tool this many times in a session. It has just been that kind of a day. So yeah, here's where it's starting to become another sort of motif. Something's not right back there. Yep. Goodness. Had an extra loop back there. I didn't pull it quite taut, I think, on that first stitch, and then I had an extra loop, and then my needle went through it, and it was just going to make a whole big mess. That is better now. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to take a break. Yeah, like I said, didn't start quite at 0, but still did almost 200 stitches on camera, so I'm pretty happy with that progress. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you here next time. Thanks, everyone.